Welcome everyone to the Productivity Now Roundtable. On our panel today, we have Duane Liebelt, and he is our Senior Piping Designer at Integra Engineering Limited. Duane is located in Lloydminster, Alberta, Canada. So Duane, if you just want to go ahead and maybe introduce yourself, tell us a little bit more.
You bet. Thanks, Lori. Yeah, Duane Liebelt, Senior Piping Designer with Integra Engineering. I've been with Integra for about 16 and a half years now. Integra consists of about 30 engineers, and I work with 7 other designers in my department. We provide service for the oil and gas industry, working with companies both local and international.
Awesome. All right, thanks, Duane. Okay, and next we've got Mike Holtz, and he's a CAD manager at Automatic Systems, Inc., and Mike is located in Kansas City, Missouri. So Mike, can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
I sure can. Thank you very much. As said, I was CAD manager at Automatic Systems. Our world headquarters are in Kansas City. We do conveyor systems primarily for automotive industry, with people like General Motors being one of our largest customers, but we do work for many others. Just about any automotive manufacturer out there, we've done probably something for them. We also work with customers like John Deere and similar. We do smaller things like luggage handling and airport baggage departments, all the way up to large aircraft for somebody like Boeing. I've been at Automatic Systems for about 28 years almost, and I have been the CAD manager here for probably around the last 10. We have about 150 users of various CAD software that access data or other things, large number of manufacturer and field departments as well. We have engineering in Kansas City, Missouri, Auburn Hills, Michigan, and Saltillo, Mexico. And we also have sister company, Standard Automation, in Auburn Hills, Michigan, and IntelliTrack in the Ohio area. Smaller companies, but altogether, we still all use the same platform at the ASI family of companies.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, thank you, Mike. And of course, last on our list, we have Will Pinson, and Will is the Director of Civil Engineering at H&M Company. And Will is in Jackson, Tennessee. So Will, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, and thanks for having me. And yeah, we're located in West Tennessee. We're a medium-sized design build company, specializing in heavy industrial applications, everything from aluminum to rolling steel pipe mills to cement plants. And then kind of the bread and butter of the company is large distribution centers. So we develop those for clients include Walmart, Dick's Sporting Goods, Ross Dress for Less, and we work all over the country trying to develop those. That's on-site and off-site road developments and drainage and the whole deal. So Architects and Engineers is kind of a sister company to H&M Construction, and so we're right next door to the construction guys. So we work hand in hand with them daily, and it's a good relationship where we can get the infrastructure on the ground in a timely fashion. So, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's excellent. Thanks, Will. Okay, and today we have Todd Stuart. He's going to be the moderator for today, and he's going to be the one asking the questions. So Todd Stuart is our Productivity Now Solutions Manager here at IMAGINiT Technologies. So with that, Todd, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Thank you. And I want to thank everyone, joining today. And just a little bit about myself. I've been with IMAGINiT over 20 years. I went to school for some architecture, been in some manufacturing in my life. And so I've been, the technical support manager at IMAGINiT for a long time. And now I'm into more the professional development of our customers and helping you with, online resources such as ProductivityNOW. And we do that throughout, Canada, US, and the world. And so it's a very robust system that really helps bring everyone into a single source of truth and getting learning and support. So with that, what we want to do is really just start talking and answering questions about, how ProductivityNOW has really helped these three companies and individuals in their roles. So if you want to go ahead, Lori, we'll start here. And this is, just a brief introduction slide on what is ProductivityNOW. If you're not familiar with it, it's really a learning and support development platform. It's really a accelerating, to accelerate learning and development, centralize all your knowledge, you're capturing standards or processes. It also helps with onboarding and your existing staff and, filling knowledge gaps or learning what you need when you need it. So go ahead, Lori, if you want to forward that. And really, just a little bit about the features here is 80 unique courses. There's over 330 learning paths. So just a ton of instructional videos, how-to tutorials, and technical support, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week by industry experienced and certified Autodesk experts that are there to answer why something's broken or what's going on with the software. Next. Here we are. I want to start with a question. We'll kind of just go around the room here and see what we can get for answers from each of our panelists here. The first one being real easy, high level. What compelling business reason did you have for implementing a new learning solution? And I'm going to start with Duane, if you don't mind, and see if you have a, answer or a reason that everyone can hear.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Todd. As an EPC, we generally collaborate with many clients and host, with multiple different software packages. We've had recently migrated from individual software licenses to the AEC collection, just because it gave us that access to a lot more software packages that we can utilize in our day-to-day project work. This portal just gave us that ability to get the training for any of those applications that are part of that suite.
Mike, what was compelling for yourself or your company?
So I agree 100% with what's said there. It's also for us was a single location for individuals to go find information they're looking for and looking for it at the time they need it. You can always go through training sessions. Many of us have gone through a training session and then you don't use whatever it is you went to training for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, maybe even a year after you did that. And now you have to pick up the software and you have to figure out what it is you learned in that session. This gives you the place to go back and, as real time, you're trying to do something, find the information you're looking for and use it. And again, it's that single source that you go look for, because anybody can go find something on YouTube or some other place on the internet, but those always end up with rabbit holes. And the next thing you know, you're watching videos on how to grow flowers in old tractor tires instead of how to do the job you really set out to do.
That's so true. Will, what was compelling for yourself or your company at H&M?
We had a little bit different reason. Like I mentioned, we're a design build firm, and so we have total in-house design as well as construction. So we're using different packages from Revit to my staff. We use Civil 3D and the different packages in between. We've gotten into Navisworks, particularly with our heavy industrial applications. We can merge all the different models together, and that gets updated daily to the field. So what happened with us is, since we're not in a room every day, we could get together and try to figure things out. We had to send everybody home whenever the COVID stuff happened, and so it just so happened I got a call from IMAGINiT at the time. They're like, well, you know, have you heard about this? I'm like, you know, cool. And so it was a way for us to fill in dead space, I guess, while we were waiting on information from the client, or, you know, some of our projects did slow down during that time, but we didn't stop. But it allowed to fill in gaps in time. And so when we have new employees, in fact, we had one last week. You know, the director came to me and said, hey, we've got a new guy. Let's get him signed up and get him going. And I talked to him just a while ago, and he said, man, that's pretty much all I've been doing, because my director's been out traveling doing punch lists on 3 different projects. So, I mean, they feel value in the company right off the bat, instead of sitting there waiting on somebody to give them something to do. So it's been incredible for us.
Those are all great points. And, you know, the searchability and the single source that, you know, Mike was saying, and Duane, but really yourself, and, you know, having that onboarding experience and having it ready when they are, so that they can fill in the gap and do even a little bit every week. You know, if you're existing in your field and you've been using the software for a while, you can now spend 30 minutes a week, or, you know, something like that, and just brush up. So all those points that you guys made are awesome. One thing that it kind of leads into is, what role, and if you want to switch that now, Lori, but what role does learning play in your organization? You know, top management down, what is that philosophy? And I'll go back to Duane again.
Yeah, we, our organization definitely promotes training for all of its staff, both engineering and drafting. You know, whether we're starting out or even at more of an advanced level, there's courses, there's information for all different levels within the portal. You know, and software is constantly evolving, and it's an easy way to get in and take a little bit or a lot of training, depending on what your needs are in your role with the company. You know, we use this as part of our onboarding process. It's pretty much, we leave it up to the individual to take the training that they are requiring, depending on their background, where they came from. And it also helps maintain our credentials as professionals in the field as well, being able to focus on you know, professional development going forward, which is a requirement on a yearly basis.
All true, very true, every one of those. Mike, yourself and your company, your you know, what role does it play?
So we also do use it for some onboarding, probably not as much as we should, but we have things set up where new employees automatically get enrolled in important things for us, such as the cybersecurity training that's built into it. There's certain things in there that's outside of the CAD package that's just something that all new employees get, and so that automatically happens, and we don't even have to touch any buttons or remember it. They just get email notices to them that, hey, you have this that's due, and they have to go take cybersecurity training, something like that. Those are all smaller things, but could be big things. We also use it for, there's a lot of other stuff, and I mentioned earlier, a central location to find information, and we're a larger company, and so we have a lot of processes here that you know, are maybe a little bit unique, And we also have a lot of custom applications that happen too. But there's a lot of stuff that just comes out of the box in here. That's how Inventor works, or how various CAD, AutoCAD programs work. That is very valuable. You don't have to go rewrite it. And I can add my own custom content into the same system, so that now when somebody goes to look, they're looking for whatever it is, whether it's out of the box stuff or whether it's custom content, they can find it in one place to search and not looking all over for it.
Awesome. So it goes beyond even the learning. It's standards and processes. Awesome. Very good. So Will, yourself, or your organization?
I'm with these guys. I mean, and these guys are pros, and so we use all the different packages, and we've been able to use this software to learn the collaboration side of it, going between Revit, going between Civil 3D, which isn't always easy, guys, and merging everything into Navisworks. And then we're also doing more LiDAR now, and we're using scans on existing facilities. And so the learning for our veteran employees is huge, because this software is changing almost yearly. And there's little updates and little changes that are trying to make it better, more efficient, which is good for us, because they're all about speed and getting it done quickly here. So we're constantly going in for permit. We're constantly trying to get construction packages out and changes. And so for people who get set, and they're doing it this way, this gives them the option of exploring new ways, whether you're a new employee or a veteran employee. And most of our design engineers do their own drafting. And so that allows them to search up ways of getting things done, especially when you get hung up. A lot of times, the engineers don't necessarily have the time to try to figure something out when they really want to.
Right, exactly. And learning, it is a top down. I mean, it's one of those, I did mention, or I did hear that, Duane said that they really leave it to their organization, the employees, to, find the training they want. But also, if you look at, Mike, he says there's certain ones that we just need you to take and you need to go through. So it's really very important to know your organization and what, the culture is, so that you can have the right learning in place and expectations for that. If you want to go ahead, we're going to set up a poll here real quick, and we're going to see what other people in the audience today, just, some ideas here, what your culture, what learning, what role does it play in your organization? So I'm going to hold that for a moment. We're going to keep that. So really, a lot of what we've talked about already is, coming back to, what key features. It's a one-stop shop. It has official courseware. It has different ways to use that, even find things when you need it. It's one of those, get over the hump, find that answer. And one of the things we haven't said much on is really the support aspect and getting help from experts and being able to reach out, pick up the phone, send an email, whatever may work for you. So we really, have multiple places or ways to get your employees or your users help or information very quickly. And that's, a very important thing when you're talking about what, Will was saying, with things need to get done quickly, and faster, always better, the efficiency. I guess we got the poll done there. We'll jump back in to look at the results here. Really, employee onboarding and continuous learning initiatives actually is up there. That is surprising to me, because a lot of things I hear as the program manager and talking to customers is the onboarding. So I like to see that continuous learning initiatives is, up there, because that is a very, very important thing, existing and new, users of the software. So let's go ahead, Lori. We'll go on to the next one. I guess just kind of curious why you chose IMAGINiT over the other system integrators. What difference, did we have that really compelled or, helped make that decision? I'll start with Duane.
Yeah, for us at Integra, I mean, when I started with the company, we were already working with IMAGINiT. I mean, since then, I haven't really had a need to look for any alternatives. We've had good support from all levels within IMAGINiT. I mean, you know, the support part of it was, you know, second to none as well for our experiences so far. So, and it's, I think, probably something that's a little bit unique from other system integrator companies as well.
Yeah, so you're talking sales, sales support, technical support, all the different levels, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah. So Mike, anything, you know, you'd say really stood out?
Well, absolutely. I guess one of the things I'd like to say first is I didn't choose IMAGINiT. IMAGINiT chose me, and that's by acquisition of previous VAR. And so I always like to point that one out, but it's been a very good partnership. We have had a lot of things with, you know, not only purchases of software, but support of software, the custom applications, all the other things that IMAGINiT has done for ASI in writing utilities, you know, not only for whether it be primarily, I guess most of our stuff is in Vault or something like that, or transporting data. If you have something out there that's taking you too much time to do and it's a repetitive task, they can help take care of those things as well. So leveraging some of those tools and the support and sales has always been extremely good to us. So, you know, it's a great team to work with, and they're always there to help you out.
Yeah, there's a lot of different just resources, I'll call it, inside of IMAGINiT and RAND Worldwide that, you know, like you said, development of software and tools and utilities that can help automate, and going, you know, to our technical support staff that's just dedicated to that. So it's really, you know, great points. Will, yourself?
I mean, it's getting easier and easier for me because I'm agreeing with what these guys are saying. And, you know, again, we were already using IMAGINiT for software support and some of the Civil 3D tools, and, you know, and I remember when I was with the Natural Resources Conservation Service, when we switched over to Civil 3D, they got with Autodesk and recorded all these trainings and I went to a 2-week class, but they recorded all that, and I was talking to the IMAGINiT guy. This was all about the time we got sent home, and I was like, you know, it'd be great if there was a training platform where everything was recorded. He goes, oh, we have just the thing, and it was like lightning struck. And so I was like, oh man, we got to get this, and it's been great for us ever since. So honestly, we haven't talked to anybody else, and we're good with that.
That's awesome. I mean, if we can fulfill all that, and, you know, you're happy and we're partners that way, that's what we want, is to be, you know, true partners. And really, you know, we have, again, such a breadth of a deep bench, let's call it that, of resources that, you know, we find we just can go deeper and wider and help, you know, at every level. So that's awesome to hear. I like that feedback a lot. But let's look at the next question. How would you describe the process regarding the implementation of ProductivityNOW into your organization? And I'm going to ask Duane, you know, about that one first again, and we'll just continue around.
For us, it was a simple transition. I mean, you getting everybody up and running. Actually, Todd, you hosted the original webinar that kind of gave us the overview and the insight into the portal, and pretty much gave us the buy-in excuse me, with the management group here. And, you know, it just from there, it just kind of ballooned and started, you know, we just started rolling it out to everybody once we had it set up, and it was pretty much our story.
Mm-hmm. I'll add in, you know, the advisor that you have that works with you hand in hand, being able to, you know, really implement this and set it up like you're saying, Duane, is, I think, a key feature where, you know, they'll do whatever they can, whatever they need to really help make the solution what you need it. And so I'll go to Mike, yourself, processes, you know,
Yeah, so
how did that?
The actual implementation process was really quite simple. It's like you mentioned, the advisor that you have. We went through and we set up some stuff like customer branding, and you're going, how long is this going to take to set all this up? Well, it's not. If you want to use it just as it is, you can be done, but we wanted it to have, you know, the logos in the right spot and all those things. So we spent a little bit of time ahead of time making it like we wanted before we rolled it out. And then the actual implementation portion of it, you know, we had, I'm going to say maybe a 1 hour meeting and tell people how to log in, where it is, how to get to it, give them some links on their desktop. And beyond that, once you're in the system, if you can go find something using Google, then you can use the ProductivityNOW platform. So it's pretty easy to do. And then again, like you said, the advisor that you have with that, that is a very valuable thing, because the advisor we still meet with on a monthly basis, and we get, you know, feedback information on what's new, what's happening, and you can give them what you're looking for, and often they go and find content. They'll get it added for you if it's you know, something that's popular, and help you out with whatever you need on keeping up communications with your group and things of that nature.
Yeah, it's a big differentiator. I mean, you don't normally see that with a learning management system or a learning system like ProductivityNOW. We're different that way, and we saw that in the beginning, Mike, is that that's a huge burden on yourself, or, you know, an individual or a group, that if they have to do it by themselves and learn the system and set it up. So that advisor is really, I found, is extremely key. Yourself, Will?
Kind of along the same lines, the welcoming email. You know, when a new employee starts, I go in there and set them up and send them that message, and then I follow up with a visit or something like that. And but then again, I'll get with the other directors every couple of weeks and say, hey, you know, this is still here. Remind your guys and gals, and also I'll send that email out to everybody every once in a while. You know, just the set it up, you know, and come to me if you got any questions, and people do, and I'll get on there a little bit every once in a while and track the usage. And of course, my superiors want to know what the usage is, and I'm able to tell them, say, you know, folks are using this, you know, and it's so handy that I can just say, hey, here it is, guys. If you need help, you know, don't watch tractor tire gardening videos. You can go find what you need, and then you can move on. Even if you're using an older version, I think it's amazing how quick newer versions come up on training whenever the packages come out. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's nice having publishers there to just, that's all they do. So it's always updated and fresh, and, you know, coming out with something new. On the other side of that, you said in there, you know, basically the communication, that's key. You know, it's really part of the implementation. You know, getting it going is one thing, but you really brought up that ongoing reminders. That's huge, because you're changing behavior of your people, going from, you know, going to a website or the ProductivityNOW portal to, you know, get answers or get help or whatever. yeah, you got to, tell them, maybe 7 times. I don't know what it is, Will, but you do have to change that behavior through repetition and, reminders and nudges. The next question, Lori. Let's look at, is there a specific feature or function in ProductivityNOW that you feel, Duane, that has been especially beneficial to your organization?
For us, I guess just the, like Will was mentioning about the usage and the learning reports, that was kind of one of the key features that management was interested in when we were first looking at this. Just being able to, when it comes review time on an annual basis, they can go in and look at their reports and see what kind of training the staff have been doing, and use that as a tool to help kind of both this and kind of keep people going through this, monitoring progress and trying to help them complete the tasks. If they've started something but haven't finished it, kind of a little bit of a push to do that.
Yeah, that nudge. Mike, yourself?
So I have a couple of different things there, and I guess one of them is again, we're a little bit larger company here, and so there's a lot of things that happen, and as Will had said, he gets a new employee, he goes in there and puts their information in, and they automatically get welcomed. That's pretty easy to do, but I have a large amount of folks to handle in one place, and so for me, there's also a way this can be set up, and so anytime a new employee is added to our system, it automatically gets them added to ProductivityNOW. They automatically get enrolled in, like I said, that cybersecurity thing. I don't have to remember that. I don't have to do anything to it. It just happens automatically. Beyond that, the other, inside of the program's features and functions are the ability for me to store my own custom content and update notices so that when I go and overnight I end up doing updates on 120 computers, I don't have to send out emails with instructions or other pieces of information. I will send out an email with a link back to ProductivityNOW on what it is that the end user has that may be different or new or whatever change it is that happens. They have one place to go back and look for it. And now if they lose that email, delete that email, no big deal, because they can go to ProductivityNOW. They all know it's going to be there. They can search for it, they can find it, and they have the same information everyone else does. Another thing that's really handy in there is when you start something and you're going through the middle of some course or whatever it is, there's always things that happen during the day and you have to walk away and do something else, and it's almost it's going to happen that you just flat close the web browser, and it's nice to be able to come back the next day, 2 days later, a week later, open it up, and it remembers where I left off on that particular document, and I can pick right back up where I stopped and not scroll through and try to figure out where I stopped, or even watching the video to figure out where I left off last.
Excellent. Good points. Everyone gets interrupted so much. Will, yourself?
I think for us, the quick search option, let's say if you wanted to learn how to draw an arc, you can just type it out and it lines it up by software version. And that applies to all the different packages. If you're a video person, you learn by watching videos, those are on there. If you learn by reading the white papers, those are on there. So it's so many different options to be able to just, if you want to know something, if you can't find it on there, good luck.
Reach out to support.
Yeah. And then there's that option too. You can call it Real Pro, and these software packages are so massive now, and there's so many features to them. I mean, I don't have enough capacity to remember all of it. So you can it'll help you figure it out. And again, if it's not already in a video or in a white paper, there's somebody there that can help you, because chances are they know. So, and to me as a manager, that's very comforting.
Excellent. So the next one is really question 6 is kind of a repeat, but a little different. Is how would you describe IMAGINiT support? Before, during, and after. Or not after, but during, and your experience with ProductivityNOW. We've kind of gone over that, but if you have anything to add, Duane, that would be great.
Not so much support beforehand, but I mean, since we've been using ProductivityNOW, we've definitely used the support group, and they're truly knowledgeable, and definitely willing to stay focused on the solution. I've had a couple of instances where I've been in a rush, I've had some licensing issues, and I mean, they actually, would call Autodesk on my behalf, and we'd sit on the line and we'd work through it until a solution was found. So it's definitely been a benefit for us to utilize the support group.
Excellent. Mike, you have anything?
I will say that the support has been, I don't know that it's different before or after ProductivityNOW. I've had good support over there with everyone at IMAGINiT. I think that when I send something in, they do the draw straws to see who gets the short straw, because every one of them has told me if I send in a support case, it's something that's pretty major, and most of mine end up being something that goes back to Autodesk or something else. But I come up with some of the craziest things that anyone has ever seen, and it's all real life things that happen to everyone. It's just that I have it happening on a much larger scale. But everyone over there has always been very supportive and stays with things, and I will say fairly responsive in getting things resolved in a timely manner. So happy with the support, though.
And they do love those complicated ones. It really stretches their brain, or makes them think. So, Will, yourself?
So the support, of course, we were using them before ProductivityNOW, and of course with AutoCAD or the different packages, just getting them set up. Sometimes they just don't set up right, or you've been using it for 6 months and all of a sudden it quits working. So we can call those guys, put in a ticket, and I mean, they're on it. And when it comes to ProductivityNOW, I'm constantly trying to figure out better ways we can coordinate between software packages. I mentioned that earlier, between Civil 3D and Revit, and they're still following up with me every other month or so. Hey, how's your experience going with this? They're doing this now. Have you tried this? And so we're constantly having this dialogue about it. And I need it to be smoother for us, especially the more spread out we get, and the higher capacity we get from a training standpoint. So it's been all positive for us.
Excellent. Good to hear. They're a great bunch of people. They really are. I'm going to move on to really talk about an ROI. If you have any, what kind of ROI have you seen on ProductivityNOW, the purchase, such as, let's give an example of reduced errors or anything you can, yourself. Duane, do you have anything that you thought
of? I can't really calculate, any sort of an ROI. Since we've been running ProductivityNOW, but you know, just talking to the users of the portal, you know, it's definitely been helping them. If they do run into an issue, run into a wall, you know, they can jump into the portal and do either a quick session or even use the support group to come up with a solution to help generate a little more efficiency on any project that they're working on.
Right. So the little things. I mean, it's not a big overall, but it's those little things make a huge difference. You know, efficiency. Mike, do you have anything that you would say would stand out for ROI?
Yeah, we don't have anything again that's measured. You know, unfortunately, that would probably be a good thing to have, is some kind of measurable ROI on something like this. But for us, I see a lot of value in the fact that it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that somebody has access to, you know, any of this information and documentation, because when we end up in the field and we're doing work there, there's somebody that's going to be working those 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And, you know, as it goes, I am the only CAD manager, and I'm not available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're needing help. It also adds a little bit of flexibility in what I can do, because I can find something, you know, somebody will send me something when I'm off on the weekend or something, and I can be out. They need information, and I can find a link for it on my phone in 2 minutes and send them a link and say, here, try this, and it solved the problem. You know, when you have a group of people in the field where your labor is at a premium rate and you're not getting them the support they need, it starts to get pretty costly in a hurry. So having them have the ability to move forward with what they need is a pretty priceless thing.
Time is money. That's what I always say. Yeah. Will, do you have anything you want to add?
Again, we're still pretty new with it, but in terms of metrics, we don't necessarily have any. But I alluded to this earlier, but it's the value that it brings for new employees. They right off the bat feel like they're bringing value to the company, even by sitting down and watching a week's worth of classes or something like that, because, you know, otherwise they would kind of be sitting there kind of, you know, looking around waiting for somebody to ask them to do something that 99% of the time they don't even know how to do. So to me, it's a relational thing. They feel value immediately. And to me, that's been huge on probably the past 10 or 12 people that we've hired.
And, you know, again, you know, getting them up to speed and having them ready, and that's ROI right there. That's huge. I'm going to move on to Duane. Can you describe how the expanded knowledge base gained by the ProductivityNOW platform has helped Integra provide better service or results to your company or to your customers? Excuse me.
Yeah, it's you know, like I said before, we've with, you know, various levels of experience with our staff, you know, especially the younger ones or the less experienced ones, you know, because we've had a hard time finding new staff, experienced staff out in the industry these days, and I'm not sure where they all went, but it's we're, you know, kind of relying on junior people. So having this portal definitely has been a benefit to get them in, get them started. You know, even guys that are coming in from the field who are tired of it out there and they rather sit in a chair, you know, to do the job. They're finding it very useful to be able to give them that start knowledge, to be able to take on any tasks that we throw at them. So, you know, and I mean, just any sort of efficiency or knowledge that we can gain definitely benefits any projects that we're working on for our customers.
Absolutely. And, you know, getting that knowledge, you know, to your people and having people be able to be promoted and into that role, like you said, they're looking for something different and they can learn and really move into it is awesome. It's a great tool. Mike, do you feel that ProductivityNOW has helped you onboard new hires more quickly?
Well, I think I used up all of my answers in the previous, and now I'm going to repeat. But, you know, the answer there is yes. And I described earlier about, you know, automatic enrollment in things and automatically getting them into the system. They don't have to wait for somebody else. They don't have to wait for me. That's often what people are doing. And as Will's pointed out earlier, you know, what is the most thing that you have somebody new doing is they're sitting around waiting for instructions on how to do something or what to do. And sometimes you may give them something of what to do, but they don't know how to do it. And now they can't access, you know, a system to get them there because you haven't got them set up yet or whatever else. And so, yeah, there's a lot of that I see value added in them automatically getting added, automatically getting the ability to go find whatever it is they need on performing the task that they're given, you know, or filling in those gaps when they're waiting on something else to do.
Awesome. Yep. Will, or yeah, I was going to say, Will, can you describe how ProductivityNOW has benefited employees with the years of experience, you know, the seasoned ones in your organization? How has ProductivityNOW benefited them?
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier that a lot of our engineers do their own drafting, and so with the packages themselves being updated, gosh, almost yearly now, it allows them to kind of stay up to date with some of the newer features or how things are looking, or you know how the platform changes. And so again, you know, they may have known how to do something going back 10 years ago, but you know, it may come up where they need to do it again. And you know, when they switched to Revit long before I got here, there are times where the Revit folks need to go back and learn some AutoCAD stuff. And so that's kind of cool. You know, they'll come over here and they'll say, hey, you know, how do you draw a polyline? Well, you know, you can go find it right here. I mean, it's usually more complicated than that, but still, that opportunity is there, and it's back and forth. So it gives them the ability to figure something out without having to get up and go ask somebody, which saves time. Yeah.
They know what they know very well. It's what they need to know, or you need them to know, and be able to do a little, you know, do more with, you know, as Duane said earlier, you know, staffing and finding good people is really, you know, it's a challenge these days. So getting more out of everyone is really a help, is what I hear as well. I'm going to go with number 11 here, Lori, and how do you identify or currently identify skills gaps with your teams? And I'm going to start with Duane. Do you have any, you know, ways that you do that today, or what do you look at?
Not really. Generally, like I said earlier, we just kind of leave it up to the individual staff member to kind of self-identify, I guess, any gaps, and as they're progressing through their career, if they're more of a junior position, you know, they know what's in the portal, and they can kind of gauge what they need, you know, because we've got electrical departments, mechanical departments, so we're all using different software. So, you know, it's just kind of, like I say, a self-identify and kind of work through them independently.
Okay. Mike, do you have any ways that you do
Currently, very similar to what Duane says, is somebody can, self-identify as something there, but probably more so for us today. We work in groups, so each group has got a manager that that they work for, and there's anywhere from 3 to 10 people or something like that, maybe even more in a group. Might be as many as 20. And so often whoever the manager is of that group identifies, where an individual needs help in improving skills. So that's kind of how that's done today for us here.
Gotcha. Very good. Anything to add, Will, that you could say is anything different?
No, we don't necessarily do that. I'm kind of with these guys. It's kind of up to the individual, and again, we don't have teams as big as these guys do, but I'm also blessed to have a really good team. So if they want to know something, they'll log in and they'll go learn it. I've never had a team that's so eager and hungry to learn. So it kind of makes my job a little bit easier. But they'll just, if they want to learn the new grading optimization, Civil 3D, gosh, as soon as it comes out, they're already logging in and filling spare time with it. So it's awesome.
That is awesome. That is very good. And there are, we have the assessments that are from Knowledge Smart that we can look at integrating into even questions specific to your organization or the product itself. We're going to put a poll out here and just see what the audience, do they have any other ways they identify and kind of learn from there, any gaps on their team, and let's find out what the audience says. The idea here is really, like I said, you know what you know. You know it very well. You do it over and over. It's those things like Will's saying or others, Mike had said a little, is that you have things that really you don't do every day, you don't do every month or year, or it's something new in the features of the product. Grading optimization is fairly new. So what gaps do people have? Is there a test, or are there questions even to test your existing staff on your processes and say, maybe you need to go watch a video or read a document or do something if you don't know what that process is. Lori, I don't know if you have a lot of answers yet.
Got about 34% voted.
Mm-hmm.
I can stop it.
Okay.
And then share.
Awesome. Ongoing skills gap analysis. I love it. That is great. I hear a lot also on the ad hoc surveys and assessments. I do see that a lot. And what was the final one? I didn't catch that, Lori. So 61%. I was about to read.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean it. We've got it after. I'm sorry.
Okay. So I have one more question for everyone, and we'll be able to really hopefully get a couple questions at the end here, last minute or two. But would you recommend ProductivityNOW to other organizations in your industry, and why? Duane, I'm going to start with you again. You're always the first one.
Oh, I would definitely recommend this ProductivityNOW portal to any organization. Definitely a benefit, and you're never too old to learn something new, I guess. And it's been great for our organization, and I wish that our staff were as energetic as the staff that Will is dealing with there, but it's we just gotta keep pressing on. And
Excellent. Yep. Mike, yourself, anything you could add?
Yeah, it is a great tool. It's very important to be able to find things. There's a little bit of a disconnect in how I will say us older generation did things compared to the younger generation, and we would get out of our chair or go over and tell whoever we're working for that their dog gives better instructions than that, and nobody does that anymore. So now they're all going to go, they want to go look for something and they're going to find it somewhere else, but they're not going to ask anybody because they think that makes them look like they don't know what they're doing. And so they're always going to go look somewhere else before they ever ask someone how to do something. Even if the guy sitting right next to them knows everything they need to know, they're going to go search on the internet. They're going to find it somewhere else. So if you give them a single place to go find what it is they're looking for, then it will improve how your organization grows, and it will improve the skills that they have, and with everyone looking in the same system and looking at the same information. Like I said earlier on, there's a lot of stuff out there. You can search YouTube, you can search Google search, but you can find a lot of really bad ideas out there as well. They're not all great, and it's not all the way you're supposed to do something. It's just somebody else's how they did it, and they thought, oh, this is great, I'm going to put this on the internet, and it's maybe not be the way you want it done in your organization. So if you want it done the same way every time, you need to have a single platform for somebody to go collect their information from.
I can attest to that, being the support manager for 17 years. There's a lot of ways and a lot of things out there on not the right way to do it. Absolutely, Mike. Great. That's awesome. Will, can you add anything in the last that they haven't?
No, I mean, I think y'all know my answer. It absolutely. Just from the simplicity, and Mike brought up a good point about that the information is uniform that's on there. I myself have sought solutions before on Google, and I totally wiped out my whole program. I don't know how many times. And so these are consistent, and they're shareable across all platforms for us. And I mean, we're getting better and better in this industry right now, whether you're civil or manufacturing or whatever. I mean, it's very busy right now, and time is of the essence. And so they're going to try to squeeze more and more blood out of that turnip, and this platform allows you to really be as efficient as possible.
Outstanding. I'm going to turn it over to Lori for a minute to see if there are any questions from the audience or anything that came up during our talk here today, to see if we can answer that real quick in the last minute or two.
Okay, thank you. So just before we get into questions, just to remind everybody who has attended today, this has been recorded and you will get a copy emailed to you in the middle of next week. All right, so one question we have here, and Todd, I'm not sure, I'll let you decide who's going to answer it. What is the number of users and how long did it take to structure your company's sites? That's from Russ.
We'll go with the big dog, Mike. The big one that
Sure.
has most. Yeah.
Like I said, we're talking about structure of the site. Pretty much all there is there's some branding. So we did company branding information, things of that nature. That portion of it was really done in a one session, and it's more about, for us, it was, oh, you've picked the wrong color of blue and it was supposed to be this. It doesn't have to be that complicated. But in this, that portion of it really only takes an hour or two to get set up. After that, if you have somebody that wants to go through and minimize content of what somebody finds, because the system is completely customizable. You can do whatever you want to it, and it comes with a large amount of information. But for us, we are, using Inventor, and we're using specific versions of AutoCAD and things of that nature. We're not dealing with some of the other things out there. So when somebody does a search, I don't want them to come up with results based on a product that we don't have or use. and it's a version that's, you know, older than what we have or use. And so these things cover multiple versions, multiple platforms. And so you can go through there and set that part up. If you want to be really thorough about it, then you can spend a good day going through getting all that set up. But it's just a, you know, selecting what it is you want to show up, what you don't want to show up. But it's really only a couple of days worth of work, and it's spread out over time, and it's not like you're doing all day. And there is a advisor that will join the meeting multiple times and come on and help you with any one of those things that you had. And you don't even have to, you know how to do it. If you have a question, you can just save it for the meeting, and they will walk you through right there what it is you need to do. And you're like, oh, I'm done with that part now. Let's move on to the next. But a few days and you're set up.
Excellent. Any other questions, Lori? Or
that's what we see right now. And so Matt earlier on had put a link in there for people today to be able to contact us, imaginit.com/contact us. And I've also put my email address. So if anybody has any questions after today and you're not sure where to go, please go ahead and email myself and I will forward them off to Todd. So before we end today, my gosh, thank you, Duane and Mike and Will. Thank you so much for your words. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your honesty. Todd, I'll go ahead and let you close this thing out.
No, I want to say the same thing. I really appreciate your business. I appreciate you having your time to, you know, really talk about this, because it's much more real or you know, true is hearing it from you. And, you know, I could say it all day long that, you know, I work in it every day and, you know, I promote it and I believe in it wholeheartedly. But hearing it from our customers and really having your time to really do this with us, we appreciate it more than you know. So thank you.
All right. So with that, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.